Hey guys, it's the Fundi AU here coming to you from Perth. It's the 26th of February 2017. Bitcoin price is currently 1,150 US dollars, or in that range anyway. Um, so yeah, let's get on to today's data dump. So what we're going to be talking, or what I'm going to be talking about today, is going to be securing your Bitcoins. This is as it's relating to early 2017. Um, Obviously, things change in this space really, really quickly, and things are just getting better all the time. I'm going to go through a timeline of all the features that we've had available to us. Obviously, there's been developments in some of them, so they've become a bit more relevant, a bit more secure as time's progressed. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. I hope there's something of use to you. And I'm going to discuss some of the key points of each and how they compare to others, things like that. Alrighty, cool. So the first one we've got is your standard blockchain core wallet, or the Electrum wallets. The core wallet is where you have the core client, which downloads the whole blockchain onto your computer. These vary from a couple of gigabytes in the case of Namecoin or Dash to over 100 gig in Bitcoin's case to date. These are affected by a number of things, the space it takes up. So you do need data space to be able to transact with the most current version of the blockchain. You can still send and receive data from these. So you can still send and receive coins, but you won't see your current value until you've synced the whole blockchain. The Electrum wallet is a light version of the core. To my understanding, it utilizes other points. It utilizes other core clients to be able to interact. Like it'll transmit everything out instead of and not synchronize with it. Cool. My girlfriend's just tagged me in Facebook. That's awesome. Anyway. Alrighty, cool. So, yeah, getting back to this. The keys, the awesome things about it, it's easy to print your keys so you can easily use them, save them into a paper wallet system. Yeah, sorry, being distracted. It's all good. With your keys, it's often displayed on the screen. You can very easily view your private keys. And this is a risk in that if you were hacked, you'd obviously have those keys lost. If someone was giving you a screen capture, you could lose them. But yeah, and you've got to make sure you back up the device yourself, back up the core, your personal wallet. Otherwise, you risk losing everything. So yeah, the nicest thing I like about it is you get to manage all your own funds. You can create as many private keys as you want, public keys as you want. You can store wherever. But it's at this point they're not always the easiest to send out because you might have 5 different addresses with a little bit in, and you want to make up a larger bit. Moving on to the more further used systems. So we've got your HD wallets. I've not used these too much. I have played around with it on a Raspberry Pi. It uses a BIP system to create a word list that's now used to restore your wallet should you lose your private keys. And now it's very similar to your normal wallet in that the keys become visible, and similar to a couple other wallets we'll talk about later. There is that screen capture risk. Yeah, those came around about the same time, quick follow-up to the other. The next one we've got is your online banks. Now these are most like the current legacy systems we've got, your national banks, all that, so your credit unions, all that jazz. These include Coinbase, CEX.io, Xapo, CoinJar, and then also exchanges such as Poloniex, Gemini, and Bitfinex. What they do is they will store your keys, they store your Bitcoin on their servers, and simply allow you to log into it. There are quite a few bonuses, but there's also disadvantages to this. Let's talk about the chain specifically. They hold your keys. If the chain was to split for any reason, like when Ethereum and Ethereum Classic, you lose the chain that they decide to discard. So I know Coinbase took ages for people to access their Ethereum Classic. Those who were lending on Poloniex lost all of their ETC to the person who it was being lent to. Obviously, we want to stay away from those things from occurring, but the fact that it happens is there needs to be some way to manage them. Also, with these systems, we have full KYC, know your customer, and AML, anti-money laundering. This is both good and bad. It means that you can there's better trust within the system because we work within a government system. And they interact with the normal system, the outside system, very nicely. And keeps the government happy. If everyone was using this system, I don't think the government would be complaining. So that's awesome. It's easy to track your transactions. So when it comes to doing tax, you can easily get a full printout of everything you've bought, sold, or exchanged to other locations. And often it'll give you a little note, so you can put in a note how you received it, where you sent it to. I went to go send this on Purse, or I moved this money here for that type thing. So it helps you when it comes to tax time. It's super easy to transfer in and out of the fiat currencies. This is obviously a really good thing with the current position we're in. A lot of them also will offer things like a prepaid debit or credit card, which means I can go into a standard shop and just pay with a credit card, or Coinbase offer that. They all offer it in some way or another. ShakePay, I think, is the newest one that offers them. Although, interesting enough, ShakePay, to my understanding, is the only one to integrate the NFC inside your iPhone or your Android devices, which means you no longer have to order a card from them. You can just load it up directly onto your phone and then tap and pay. Yeah. Another bonus, super easy to sync between devices. You log into it on your computer at home, you log into it your computer somewhere else. It's always there. You log into it on your phone, you've got an app on your phone, whatever. You get notifications whenever things change as well, which is something you won't see too often in other things, other wallet systems. The biggest disadvantage of this, if the government suddenly decided they didn't like Bitcoin for any reason, or whoever you're working under, they could easily stop access to that. They could seize your cryptocurrency. They could do whatever they wanted with them, versus the other systems where they've got to get hold of those keys. Yeah. Moving on to online wallets. So these include MyEther wallet, blockchain.info, things like that. There's varying levels of security with these. A lot of them will generate the private and public keys on the site and will give you an option to download them both encrypted and unencrypted. MyEther wallet's really great in that it's client-sided, so you download it to your side, you sign the addresses on your side, but that still means that if your computer's compromised, you'll be sending compromised data out. Sorry, you'll be sending out, but whatever's left is still compromised, security compromised. They do offer some encryption options, and yeah, you store the keys yourself, you look after it. Their blockchain.info does allow two-factor authentication. It's sort of like a version 2 of the slightly older systems, but in that way it's also been slightly more centralized. Then you've got app wallets. Now these, the only good example I could pick up was Jaxx. Obviously these apps are available for a number of things. Jaxx is the most standalone. It's available on all operating systems. It's available in your Google Chrome. It's available for Android and it's available for iPhone. It syncs between all of the systems really nicely. It uses the BIPX system, or the BIP, whatever it is, BIP32. I've just said X for a number. So there's that cross compatibility there. And if something were to happen to the JAX servers that they connect to, we can connect to others. Unfortunately, as with the other BIP systems, you risk a screen capture piece of malware on your computer. Anyway, also, if people aren't aware of things at the time, they might copy and paste or store those set of keys on your computer, which just further extends that issue. Then we've got phone wallets. We've got Bread Wallet, which is more like your first generation. It feels very similar to the app wallets, so I'm not going to go into it too much. There is one which Tone and a couple of the other big players have recommended, and I quite like the feel of it, the look of it. And what it does, Airbits, I don't know if I mentioned the name already, it's like a second generation of that. It uses a stack of words and numbers and things that you create, so you can log back into it at a later date. It's very similar feel to blockchain.info for me. Slightly more secure in other ways though. But again, someone capturing your screen, your smartphone data could potentially get access to it. Yeah. Moving on to paper wallets. So this is really funny because I've put it here. It's the most like the last one, the final one. It's cold storage at its best. But there are risks just like the other ones, and it's less flexible in other ways. So it's very easily generated online. There's heaps of websites that are already pre-built. You just click generate, pop out your wallet, and you're sorted. Some of these websites do offer, or code bases do offer, extra encryption, and often you can download the code base onto a computer. You can then run this on an offline system to make it more secure. With a lot of these codes, they generate them through, it's computer generated, so it's pseudo random. It's not fully random. I know there's a lot of them do. I know the Bitcoin wallet does. I know the Dash wallet does. It allows you a 99 dice roll. So what you do, you roll dice 99 times, type those in, and that will give you your random string used to generate the wallet, which is really cool because that is random at its best. They can be operated offline. I mentioned that already. It's printable. You know, you put it in your fire safe. It's all good. The catch with them, you've got a private key. You've got a public key and a private key. You fold the private key into it so no one can see it. But in order to utilize it, you've got to put it onto another system, which is then making it vulnerable again. So if you don't transfer everything off in one go, it's very possible that someone could capture that data somewhere in the system, either through a screen capture or capturing your photos. I mean, we see it on Androids all the time where someone steals a phone, they encrypt something in it, or someone loses a phone. There's something put into the firmware that automatically gives a GPS location, things like that, screenshots, photo shots, and whoever captures that data captures all your info. So yeah, that's just talking about exposure. I just forgot why I went there for a second. Yeah, I did design a little holder for one. What I did is I printed a wallet. Let me give you a closer look just so you get an idea of what these paper wallets look like. Now this is one that I've printed inside a piece of plastic, so no one can access the private key in it. I didn't generate these on a secured system. I just generated it on my standard computer, my home computer. So there is potential for it to be compromised. I'll just give you a little closer look. So there's your QR code, and you got the dash symbol on the back. It's pretty cool. Just something I designed last night. The reason I did this though is because this allows me to take the QR code in anywhere. People can scan it, send money to it, or check the balance, and then I can give it to them later. That was the design intent. I'll go into more than that in another video. Side point. Again, security, people being able to look at your private key when you're not looking at them. Alrighty, last but not least, the hardware wallets. We have the two major players, really, Ledger and Trezor. Trezor, I think, was the first one, to my knowledge, and they produce a single device with a little screen and two buttons on it. Ledger, on the other hand, have gone the cheaper option and have recently started pushing out the Nano S, which has the screen and the buttons and all that. And they've recently, like within the last week, released even more, or I wouldn't say more secure, but a system that's got more capabilities, and it's a full touch screen device. This is what a hardware wallet looks like. It's simply a little USB, plug straight in, and the codes are generated a number of different ways. Let's get into that now. So we are still using the BIP system. So if you lose it, you can still restore based on that. And if the company were to fold, you'd still be able to access your account using those keys. The keys are signed on the wallet itself. So you're no longer signing it on your computer. You're running it through the device. The private key is never actually displayed to the environment at all. I'm not sure about Trezor. Ledger does give you two-factor authentication, so you can synchronize it to a phone, or they give you a card with the cheaper models. So that way, yeah. Oh, by the way, this is £15, so I guess $15 US and 20 Australian dollars. So super cheap there, but a much bigger security step on the others. Yeah. But the catch is with the cheaper ones, that BIP44 system is displayed on your computer screen, thereby leading to less security there. Now let's specifically talk about the Nano S and the Trezor. So they've got the screen which I mentioned earlier. This allows you to show how much you're going to be sending somewhere and what wallet you're sending it to, thereby allowing for any hack that's on the computer. You can actually see where it's going if someone were to tell your wallet that you actually send your Bitcoin here every time. I've mentioned it signs it on there. That's the same as the other ones. And the BIP44 phrase, or whatever you want to call it, is displayed on the screen itself. This means that if someone was to pinch your device, this means that nothing is ever displayed on the computer. So you've got a highly secure system never actually giving the key out to recreate it. These BIP44 systems are all compatible with your JAX wallets, HD wallets, all that sort of thing anyway. So yeah, if one topples, the other one can pick up the slack. Also, they've got an onboard PIN, which means, again, if someone was to have a keylogger on your computer and then steal your hardware wallet, they would have the keylogger, they'd have the 2FA card, and they'd have your hardware wallet. So that's all they need to transact. While with this other system, you never display your private key, your PIN at all, because you're punching it in on the device itself. There's also another hardware wallet, and I haven't looked into this too much, but I'm extremely interested if I've got some spare time. It's a Linux system, and what they do is you burn your keys onto a disk and you burn the operating system onto another disk. So once it's there, it can't be modified. So you load up one, then you sign, and you can continue to use, well, no, maybe use a USB. I think you use two USBs. You can look into it if you want, but that basically means you've got a cold version and a hot version based on what you, that's it. You can boot up in cold or hot mode. But I might look into that another time. Hardware wallets. So, okay, conclusion. Let's conclude. Hardware wallets, most secure. It's a very nice balance with the ease of transaction. Plug it in, send your Bitcoin, versus the security of the cold storage paper wallet, which is totally offline. You can generate it offline, and it's not going anywhere until you scan that code. A lot of people say a paper wallet is your cold storage is the most secure. This kind of is like for me, because you still have to eventually show, if you want to use it, you have to eventually show your private key. That makes it really hard to balance between it. For me, I like the flexibility that the hardware wallet gives you. Some might say that the full cold storage of the paper wallet is better, though. Phone wallets, convenience, and for ease of use and buying Bitcoin straight off like a credit card or through a deposit. Things like Coinbase, Zappo, CoinJar are your great tools to have there, and for ease of use in between things. Yeah. Well, I hope someone found this useful. Any comments, you're welcome to give them. I hope the audio quality was better. I know someone mentioned that previously. Yeah. Anyway, have a great day, guys. Enjoy the price of Bitcoin. If you're holding, if you're selling, I'm holding. Always hold. It's Bitcoin. Anyway, have fun.